Hi, welcome to Sky High Solutioning's video series for Salesforce admins and users, which we call How To. Today I want to take you through how we typically work with contacts in Salesforce. Scenarios such as creating, editing contacts and associating them with accounts with what we call affiliations. So let's get straight into it. Working with contacts in Salesforce. What is a contact? An individual who is part of a household. For example, Jan Smith and Naomi Smith are part of the Smith household. But a contact can also be associated with an organization like a company. So for example, John Smith is part of the Big Giving company, an account. The golden rule is once you create a contact, they are part of a household and they stay that way. You never change that. Now, creating contacts, what's the best practice? Surname and first name should always be included. Ideally email, and I'll explain why shortly. And ideally include a contact number for obvious reasons. Now, contacts appear as affiliated contacts on an account related list if you have associated that contact with an account. Contacts are not the same as leads because leads are names that you gather for prospecting, you qualify them, and then you convert those into accounts with contacts. Salesforce automatically associates your new contact with a household, so it creates that for you and you never need to change that. Having an email address is also ideal because we want to perform data loading maybe in the future of contacts from an external source such as spreadsheets, and often we don't have a unique identifier, so we use the email as the unique identifier. Now, from where is it possible to create a contact? From the Contact tab, List View, which I will show shortly. Also, when you're in the contact record, you can create a new contact, and also from a thing called Global Actions, where you can access it anywhere in Salesforce. So just a small note, but an important note to say, in all situations, always use a qualified Salesforce admin or developer to configure this before you start using it. Now, how can I add a contact to an account? So add an organization affiliation to the contact related list, or you can create an affiliation when in an account. For example, you could be affiliated as a charity trustee, a volunteer, a board member, or an employee. And you can add a contact as the primary contact on the account details page. So what is an affiliation? When a contact is linked to an account, for example, Jan Smith from the Smith household might have a primary affiliation with the Big Funder charity. So why does this matter? Well, Jan will remain part of the Smith household whilst personally maybe being a donor, whilst being a trustee of another non-profit, and a volunteer somewhere else. The important thing is that by having households, newsletters and mailing campaigns just go to one household and not all the household members. Each member of a household can have an affiliation with other organizations, with multiple organizations. Let's take a look at all of this in Salesforce. So here I am in the Salesforce screen, and I'm now going to take you through the three methods of creating a contact which have been configured as follows. First, I can see this is the contact list view. It's my contact list view. And over on the right hand side, I can see new. I click on new, and here I will get a contact form to complete, which I'll do now. So So I've completed the details for this contact. I will now proceed and save. Notice I haven't added accounts or primary affiliations. I just want the basic contact. So let's save the record. And now we see we have Neil Smith, and he's in what we call the Smith household. So you have to be careful when you use names with the same surname that you don't create a whole load of Smith households. You have to identify them. So it could be the Neil Smith household if he's the senior of the house, or Jan is the senior female of the house. So now let's move to method 2 for creating a new contact. So whilst we're in the contact record, we can see the new contact button here. This is in Salesforce called a quick action. So I will click new contact, and I'll do the same thing. I will just create a new contact here. I now have my new contact, Jan. I'm going to save her. I'm going to check that she's in my contacts now. So here we have Jan Jones. Now, what you'll see is it's created a Jan Jones household, which is fine, but I actually want her to be in the Smith household. So I simply will go here, remove Jan from there, and I will type in Smith. And now Jan is part of the Smith household. And now what I want to do is go to the third method, which is via global actions. Global actions is here on the top right hand side, and irrespective of what tab you're in, whichever page you're in, you can always access global actions. If I click this drop down, which again would need to be configured by your administrator, I can see we have various choices of new records to create, and here I can create the new contact. So let's go ahead and do that. I've completed the details. I will now save the record. I'll refresh my contacts list. So here on the top left I can refresh. So now I've created the third contact via the third method, via global actions, and I can see now that my third contact is here. If I click on Naomi Wold, then I can see she's part of the Wold household. Again, I would like to attach her to the Smith household, so I can just change this and type in Smith. And now she goes to Smith and Jones household. And now that record becomes Smith, Jones and Wold household. So whilst I'm in the contact record, one of the things I wanted to show you is how I can edit a contact. So let's start with the list view. I have all the contacts here. I can edit, let's say Adrian Jones, here on the right hand side by clicking edit and going into the record, and I can edit it there. Or I can click the Adrian Jones record, and I have these little pencil lines, and I can edit what we call inline editing, which allows you also to change here as well. So I just literally click on the pencil, and if, for example, I want to associate him to that household, I could do that and just save it, but I actually don't want to do that. And the other common way of editing a record in Salesforce would be that you have a button here, another quick action, and you can click edit, and here you can go into the record and edit it there as well. So let's talk about how we can associate a contact with an account, with an organization. So here I'm in the contact list view again, and let's take, for example, Adrian Jones. So I'll click on the Adrian Jones contact, and as you can see, we've got the details page, but we also have this related page, and here we can see the organization affiliations. So let's go to this one, and let's say he's an active member, and let's make him a part of the Big Funder organization, and let's save that. Now then, if I go to accounts, and on the global search I go Big Funder accounts, click on Big Funder accounts. Now I'm in the account record and I go to the related list and I see the affiliated contacts. Here I could see Adrian Jones. So that's how we can attach or associate a contact via the contact record to an account. But let's do it the other way around. Let's start with the account record and attach a contact to that account record and create an affiliation that way. So let's go to the account list and let's look at my accounts and let's go to Big Funder. And in Big Funder I can see this is a Big Funder account, and in the related list I have these things called affiliated contacts, and you can see already I have some people in there. So let's now create a new affiliation and search our contacts, and let's say we're going to attach Naomi to this account as an active member, and we then save that record. And there we see Naomi is now affiliated with that account. So as you can see, Naomi is part of a household, but she's also part of an account. So now if I was to then go to my contacts, and let's go to Naomi and let's give her a primary affiliation. So let's say that she's a primary affiliation at the Big Funder. And there, it's as simple as that. She can have a primary affiliation with the Big Funder. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you is when I'm in the account record, how do I then create a primary contact? So let's go to Big Funder, and normally when you want to make contact with an account, you always want the main point of contact. So we have this thing configured called a primary contact. So let's go to this one, and I'm going to make Adrian Jones the primary contact. And what I need to do with Adrian Jones is, let's say he's the tennis coach, and let's just save that record. And there we have Adrian Jones is now there as the primary contact. So what I've tried to show you today is 3 simple ways that you can create a contact, how you associate that with an account, or how you associate a contact with an account by way of affiliations, and also how you can edit a contact record. This is another good example of how the Salesforce CRM works so well for organizations, charities and non-profits. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to post your comments. Now, how can we help you with your digital transformation using Salesforce? Try viewing our other YouTube channel series called Demystifying Salesforce. And of course, check out our website, skyhighsolutioning.com. Thank you.